Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Saturday, July the 4th, 2026. It is the 250th anniversary of the founding of America, or the breakaway from the UK of America. And it's freaking hilarious because it's shit and depressing and shit. And the only reason why it's so shit and depressing and shit is because of one man, Donald Trump. So let's get into it in a moment and have a good old laugh at our American colleagues, our American cousins. But before we do that, I'm going to say a big hello to Billy in the chat. We've got Diz as well. We've got GM Lovely. We have, I think that's about it. Ryan in the chat as well. Hello. If you are in the chat, are you able to get in the chat? If you want to make yourself known, that would be really cool. Say hello to everyone. It's a friendly chat, and all you have to do to join it is press the friendly subscribe button. And we're gonna run an experiment next week, probably, of setting up a Hughes of the World WhatsApp group based on the new usernames that are now available on WhatsApp. So, 1 second, just reach over here, get me coffee. So who we got? We got Billy and Diz. Diz, hi, how's it going? So we've got at least one mod in the chat. So let's talk about America. OMG. I mean, wow. So the US is marking 250 years since the Declaration of Independence was adopted on the 4th of July, 1776. You know, the what is it? The semi-quincentennial or something like that. The half of 500. And Trump is due to headline a National Mall event in Washington, D.C. with military flyovers, a large fireworks display, and a late-night speech. His speech is expected at 9:45 local time after a day of heat warnings, security checks, and event disruption. The event has been framed as less of a civic commemoration and as a more Trump-centered salute to Trump. The planned fireworks is going to have at least 850,000 fireworks, and an attempt at a world record, I think. Woo. The Internal Park Service modelling reportedly warned that the display could create hazardous air pollution around the National Mall and very unhealthy conditions across Washington, D.C., which is hilarious because since Trump's been in, it's all a bit, you know, toxic in the air in Washington, D.C., wouldn't you say? People being arrested for touching water. Anyway, so Trump opened the anniversary weekend at Mount Rushmore yesterday which is a big part of shit. Mount Rushmore is one of these gimmicky American things where they tried to make something look great and they've destroyed a part of the First Nations, the Native American culture in the process by carving the faces of some presidents into the rock for some stupid reason. Anyway, he he made this speech yesterday about the what he called the communist menace. This is what he was going on about during this speech. I mean, I hate listening to him. I hate everything he does. He's just bonkers. He's absolutely cockaloop. He's just not there. You know, the guy's, you know, Elvis has left the building. But he linked this warning about communism to progressive Democrats and immigrants because, of course, you know, immigrants. You know the people who founded America. Immigrants, all of them were immigrants. Every single one was an immigrant. America is a nation of immigrants. If you don't want to be in a nation of immigrants, go to North Korea. Oh no, you can't, because then you'd be an immigrant in the nation of immigrants. God, it's so difficult, isn't it? Imagine growing up in a nation full of immigrants and them complaining about immigration. He said newcomers who embraced ideas opposed to his version of America should be expelled, and he moved the anniversary theme into the midterm elections, saying that Republicans could only lose if they allow themselves to lose. So yeah, it's supposed to be celebrating the 250th birthday of America, and instead you got this nutter, this big fat dickhead standing up, this orange fucking monster, this rapist, this scumbag, this wheeling dealing fucking money man billionaire scumbag, this absolute total grifter, standing up and going, oh, you know what, I know we're supposed to be celebrating the birthday, but I just want to tell everyone that there's all communists everywhere and we're going to die. It's like something from a shit sitcom, isn't it? You know, where the character has the best man dies at the last minute, and they have to get a replacement, and the replacement's just someone who goes on about that time that the couple split up, or do you remember when we went on the stag do and we had that stripper? Do you remember the stripper on the stag do in front of the shocked faces of all the kids and all the adults in the room? You know, the parents of the bride, like, what is this? And like, oh, I'm just doing a funny best man speech, and like everyone's like completely fucking silent and just going, what the fuck? Who let this guy do the best man speech? There's a friend of mine from school who was the best man for 3 weddings, and all 3 ended in divorce a few years later. That's pretty bad, isn't it? I don't think it was his wedding speech necessarily, but like, choose your best men carefully. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so yeah, the official commemoration for the 250th anniversary, there's been a group that was created 10 years ago. It was called the Semi-Quincentennial Commission, and that was started in 2016 to plan the 250th anniversary on a non-partisan bias. And that work was publicly known as America 250, or one word. A congressional Democratic report now alleges that the White House has sidelined that structure and pulled the Trump-aligned Freedom 250 operations instead. So the push towards this American, what's it called? Freedom 250. And the report alleges that the anniversary was redirected towards Trump's personal image, political goals, fundraising, and allied contractors. And the report has not been adopted by the full committee, so they treat it as an allegation from Democratic staff, not the official finding just yet, but come on. So yeah, America 250 described itself as a bipartisan initiative to engage Americans in the anniversary. Existing civic style programs included things like the American field trip, a national students contest asking young people what America means to them. It also promoted America Gives, a national volunteering effort, volunteering being nice. The original concept was about broad civic participation through like schools and communities, historic sites, volunteering, local events, all that kind of stuff. And the Trump era just got rid of that. They rebranded it. They centralized it around the White House and around Trump. And they just said, let's make it MAGA. Let's make it MAGA. But the thing is, I don't think Trump won the last election. I think he cheated. I think that more people voted for Kamala Harris. But obviously, that horrible man, Elon Musk, was given access to the voting rolls, to the voting machines in some areas, to just enough to tip it in Trump's favour, just to put a thumb on the scale. Now, and I believe that because of the way that Trump reacted to Elon Musk after the election, you know, having making him in charge of cutting all these services, the USAID services and others from the American federal system. And also, he had that bizarre car thing on the lawn. That was only last year, wasn't it? Jesus Christ. The bizarre car sales thing. And then to have Elon Musk suggest that Trump was a paedophile on his Twitter X platform, and Trump going, not like losing the plot on him. Do you know what I mean? It was just a bit, and then the mates again, and then Elon Musk was at Mar-a-Lago for New Year. And it's all a bit like, yeah, Trump thinks that he owes this guy something. What does he owe him? He owes him the presidency. Simple as that. And you know what? Elon Musk has probably said to him, I made you president, I can unmake you president. You know, just bark like a dog. Bark like a little dog, Donnie. Dog, Donnie, dog, bark like a dog, and hop on one leg, bark like a dog. And Trump's like, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. But yeah, the Freedom 250 have been described as a White House partnered organisation linked to the National Park Foundation. Its program included Rededicate 250, a religious event on the National Mall, which makes a mockery of the whole separation of church and state that's supposed to underpin everything that happens in American politics. It also included that fucking UFC event on the White House, which ruined the grass, the Great American State Fair, which is an absolute disaster. So much footage from that this week is just, there's no one there. The only people out there are people going around with their phones recording how few people were there. There's one scene where there was more people on the stage than there were people watching the people on the stage. Yeah, and like it was like a really, really bad expo. You know, you go to these like a travel expo, or you go to like a party conference and they have all those stalls set up and you go and get a pen. It was a bit like that, but worse. It was just absolutely freaking awful. Absolutely awful. Chris says it is also nuts that he has attacked those who dare teach American children about how Americans stole land for the natives. Yeah, he was stood on land stolen from the Sioux Nation in 1878. Yeah, there's a really good film. Is it a documentary called "Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee"? That's what it's called, and it's about how the Sioux people of Dakota had their land taken from them, and the American government had a deal with the Sioux people, and they said, you can have this area and that's yours and you can keep it forever. And then a few years later, they found gold. The Americans found gold, and so the Sioux people said, listen, you can't have it, it's ours. You said this land was ours. And the Americans were like, well, we did the contract and we got you to sign it. Yeah, we lied. A lot of the Sioux people have been displaced as an effect of that contract, so they had an area to go and live in, and then see you later. And then they were chucked out of that particular place. I just the whole thing just absolutely reeks of exceptionalism, American just scumbaggery from the start to the finish. And I think it kind of little bit of a bow on it that Mount Rushmore is this land that was supposed to be given to the Sioux and then stolen back off them when they found gold there. If you watch the TV show Deadwood, that's set in Dakota. But yes, the festival was hilariously bad. Even the stage was falling and the rigging. Oh God, yeah. That's really scary, wasn't it? There was a bunch of people dancing on the stage and a big bit of the rigging fell. That someone could have been seriously hurt. They were meters away from that. So yeah, the America's Festival of Immigration could have been a cross-continental event. Yeah, it could have been. But yeah, the fact that he did a talk at Mount Rushmore, like how disrespectful, how utterly disrespectful do you want to be? I'm going to set up the super chats. If anyone wants to jump in on this one, we'll get some confetti going, celebration for America's 250th anniversary. Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, there was the Freedom Trucks. There was a concert series. There's several music acts have dropped out shortly after being announced to play it on the National Mall. The July the 4th concert was then folded into a Trump rally instead. And instead of a civic birthday, the centerpiece has become a Trump-branded political showcase. Freedom 250 events and materials are drawn heavily on conservative, Christian, and right-wing educational partners. The Rededicate 250 event, the religious one, was framed as prayer, praise, and thanksgiving. And they've worked with groups such as PragerU and Hillsdale College, notorious sort of bastions of if it was Islamic, it would be like we'll be talking about Muslim fundamentalism, we'll be talking about madrasa schools. It's the same sort of thing, just for Christians. And critics have said this narrows the story of American founding into a religious nationalist view of history, which it shouldn't have been. It never was. I mean, even someone like Jefferson, he wasn't particularly religious. He may have been a deist, but he didn't believe that there was a God who dictated what happens from day to day. And that was even before the theory of evolution came and smashed all religion out the window by going, well, you don't actually need it to be supernatural. It could just happen through natural processes. It doesn't have to be an invisible wizard in the sky who created everything. And maybe I've gone out on a limb here. Maybe we didn't answer the most difficult questions that humanity has ever posed itself. Like, how did we get here? How did it all start? How does it all end? What happens after you die? We got all the right answers correct in the Bronze Age, and the answer was a wizard did it, or some wizards did it, depending on whether you're a monotheist or a polytheist. Yeah. Just a little sprinkling of magic. Just a little sprinkling of magic. It's funny how sightings of ghosts have like stopped since everyone has a phone in their pocket. Well, a camera in their pocket. It's funny that, isn't it? Do you reckon there'll ever be any more? Do you reckon that there could ever be any more like saints who have like a miracle happen? Because realistically, you've got to film it now. You got to get it on your phone, and you're never going to do that. I don't think so, anyway, unless they decide to make Penn and Teller saints. GM, lovely. Oh, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. That's very lovely of you. That's very kind. Thank you very much. People ought to think for themselves. The problem is, people only think for themselves if you tell them to. Yes. Well, I often make that point, don't I, when I'm speaking about like people who are too lazy to think for themselves, so they get Rupert Murdoch or Nigel Farage or Donald Trump to do all their thinking for them, and that's a level of laziness that is just beyond measure. And it's like, can you not just spend some time reading books or going on Wikipedia and finding out what's really going on? No, it's all right. I'm fine. I'll just this miracle that I've got, this brain, I'm just gonna let someone else use it. Someone else reside within it and dictate what I feel about things. It's crazy. Anyway, but yeah, one nation under God was added to the Pledge of Allegiance during the Cold War, not the founding of America. It was a thing to separate America from the godless commies. In God We Trust became the national motto in the 1950s as well. Not in 1776. Before then, it was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or something like that. Oh no, it was Eplorbius, something. It was from many comes one, which is why the TV show Pluribus is called Pluribus. It's from the old Latin motto of America, which was something along the lines of from many comes one. Eplorius unum, I think. My Latin isn't great. Maggie Pie, thank you very much for the 20 Swedish krona. Thank you, that is very kind. We got it all right in the Bronze Age. Oh my God. Yeah, everything. We got it right when everyone was, illiterate. And no one had a microscope or a telescope or knew about germ theory or gravity or how to fly or how to build a good boat that was made of metal. And we didn't know about gunpowder. Didn't know about vaccinations, didn't know about the internet, didn't know about computers, didn't know quantum physics, didn't know about fucking AI, or as I like to call them, large language models, or as I like to call them, a helpful little robot that gets everything wrong. Boom. I saw one of these infographics. There's certain things that AI is really shite at making. Maps particularly is so shite at maps. It just draws an imitation of a map. But the thing about maps is they've got to be fucking deadly accurate or they can fuck you up, right? So don't let AI anywhere near maps, right? But then there's these infographics that are going around, and it's these shit AI generated cartoons. You know the way AI cartoons all look the same, and all like AI pictures all look the same. It's all sort of browny, murky shite, right? And it was and they'll have like a timeline of something, and the latest one I've seen was a timeline of England, in the World Cup for each year, whether it qualified or not. And for the first one, it said was not part of FIFA, so that's right. The second two, in 34 and 38, it said did not qualify. I'm like, we weren't part of FIFA. We did not join FIFA in the 30s. It wasn't until after the war that we joined FIFA, and then we took part in the 1950 World Cup. That was the first one we took part in. And then it claimed that we didn't qualify in 1970. I think we did. I'm not sure on that one. But then it said we didn't qualify in 2014. And I was like, I know we didn't qualify in 1994. I remember that. But like, we didn't qualify in 2014? Are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure that we did qualify in 2014. Anyway, and it's got one of those little arrows, like a Snakes and Ladders sort of snake going along the page. So you're supposed to read it in a certain order, but it goes the wrong way compared with the numbers on it. And you're just looking at this stuff that AI generates, and all of AI is like this. It from a distance it looks okay. through a pair of binoculars from the crow's nest, oh yeah, it looks fine. Yeah. But as soon as you actually look at it, as soon as you zoom in, as soon as you take note of the cadence of this isn't this isn't that, this is this, and the repeated use of certain phrases and things like that. I mean, one of the things that drives up the wall about using Chat GPT, I try and get it to just do the descriptions for the videos before I make them, and it always mentions chaos, and I have to keep saying, will you stop saying the word chaos? And it's like, okay, going to stop saying the word chaos now, and then it does it again. Every time I ask it to make some notes, I say no repetition, and it goes, okay, and then it just makes notes that just repeat themselves over and over again. It doesn't seem to understand what simple things mean, and it takes me back to there's an episode of Red Dwarf where they have the scutters, which are the things with the hands for faces and little robots. They look like K9 from Doctor Who, and but with a hand for a face. And Rimmer's complaining about them because obviously Rimmer's a hologram; he can't touch anything. And he put something in the oven and he said, watch that or keep an eye on that." And so they do. They just watch it burn. And it's a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to be so specific, but even when you are specific, like writing no repetition in capitals, exclamation marks, it still repeats itself. It still repeats itself like a crazy bastard. And then you just repeat yourself. It goes, oh yeah, sorry about that. I'll do it again. And then it repeats itself again in what comes next. And it just gets itself into a hole. And we're seeing time and time again, these companies that have sacked people because they're like, oh no, we'll get AI to do it. And they're having to take people back. They haven't taken people back because it's just unsustainable, because it makes too many mistakes. It doesn't get the details right. Gives you a sort of brushstroke, thing. According to AI, a Finnish city is called Thank you very much for the super chat there. Maggie Pie. Yeah, it's nonsense. It is no sense of context, no sense of continuity, no sense of clarity. Chris says the American Constitution clearly states that the government shall not establish or endorse an official state religion. It also states that people have the freedom to practice whatever religion. Yeah, it also states that under the 14th Amendment, that if you're born on the soil of America, then you have American birthright citizenship. That went to the Supreme Court this week, and the Supreme Court decided that they were going to back the Constitution, but it wasn't unanimous. 3 judges voted against it. All of the voter roll information, state results, etc. passed through Starlink in America did. Yeah. Elle says, my ex was like that. I had potatoes on and I asked them to watch them for me. They watched it boil over. We've all been there. Do you know someone who's terrible at cooking? You might be someone who's terrible at cooking. I don't know. But it astounds me when people can burn soup, when people can fuck things up that badly. And I'm like, I don't know. I am ADHD, clearly. I wouldn't necessarily regard me as being scatty, though. I do get quite stressed when I'm in the middle of cooking. I don't like people moving things. Like, if I'm cooking, I'll be making a mess and using every single pan, because that's what I do. But, if someone else comes into the room and they move something like a spoon that I was using, I get really, really discombobulated. But when it comes to not letting things burn, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good on that. Pretty good on not letting things burn, not letting things boil over. I do enjoy cooking. I do. I just find it a little bit of a stress before I start. When you just sort of like, oh, I've got to do this thing. Got to do this thing. But, we had a meeting yesterday. One of the reasons why I had to run off when I did the morning brew yesterday, and one of the reasons why I was late getting started with the agenda with Phil, we had to push it back, because I was having a meeting about Global Scouts Day, which is every year on February 28th. And we were talking with one of the owners of some of the pubs in town, and talking about what we can do for Global Scouts Day next year. And actually, instead of just making it as it is at the moment, it's kind of like, oh, you can do what you like, actually have a bit more of a structure to it and make more of an effort to get schools involved and things like that. And I really like the idea of having, the kids in schools learning how to make scouts. But it's stew. If you don't know what scouts is, it's just stew. Peeling potatoes and peeling the carrots and chopping things and stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool. I think it's one of the things that they do a bit of cooking in schools. Now, when I went to school, we didn't get any of that. We didn't get anything useful. Honestly, I don't think we didn't get any car mechanics. We didn't get any, electrics, how to wire a plug, how to change a light bulb, any of that stuff. All of that stuff I learned out of school. And bringing some of that stuff in, I think, is really important because it is the stuff. It's the day to day. It's the day to day. And there are people who don't need to learn how to cook. I don't think that Farage can cook. I mean, you sometimes get these rich nepo babies who can't do anything right with their life, so they decide to cook things because it's easiest. It's the path of least resistance, I guess. But Farage has never cooked for himself. Trump has never cooked for himself. Trump wouldn't know how to cook. He just wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? He's just one of those people who's always had a servant. He's always had someone to make his meals. He's never done the washing up. He's never taken the bins out. He's always had people. Always had people. And Farage is in so much trouble at the moment. I mean, he's got 5 homes. He only declared 2 of them. Turns out he's got 3 more hiding away. Stu the Bearded. AI is only statistically what comes next. No content, no context, no thought, no intellect. Yeah. What else have we got here? We've got in the UKO2, Virgin Services, etc. is rolled through Starlink already. Look it up. We are acutely vulnerable as a result. That's really not good. I know that Elon Musk wants to put something like over 1.7 million satellites in the sky. So it's going to absolutely destroy anyone on Earth trying to do any kind of stargazing with all these artificial lights in the sky. He's such a twat. I call to all LGBT plus allies. There is a new good law petition. It'll in the chat momentarily. It's to send a message to the government on all the anti-LGBT guidance coming. Please sign and share. Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks for that, Diz. I will pin that. Okay, so that message has now been pinned, so it should be there. That's a good law project if you want to tap on that at some point. And then come back here. Human rights needs a boost and science education. Yeah. I knew immediately they had. Oh, sorry, Diz. Was that not right? Okay. I'll remove that. Unpin message. Sorry, Diz. I'll see if I can find it myself because I can do links, can't I? Good law project. Petition. Wouldn't help if I could spell petition. I just spelled it with an O. Petition. Is this the I Stand with Trans People? When did this come online? So yeah, it must be today because only 800 people have signed it. Okay. Good law project trans petition. I think I've written petition right there. Okay, so cool. There's the petition, and I will make that. I'll pin that there. Cool. Okay. Sorry, Diz. Thanks very much. I guess that wasn't the right one. Where was I? Diz has got, yeah. You're on it. Momentarily in a transit, brief instant of time. It doesn't mean soon. That's in a moment. De-Americanize a British American. Momentarily. Oh, I never really thought about that one. I just get upset about the way that they say Moscow and they pronounce it like a moo cow. Moscow. What the fuck? Or Birmingham instead of Birmingham. Or Melbourne instead of Melbourne. But then British people say Melbourne instead of Melbourne. It's just annoying. Anyway, it's not, it's fine. Yeah, you have certain areas, certain places, and just because it's spelt one way doesn't mean it's pronounced that way. Isn't that right, Worcestershire? Having a mare. Don't worry about it, Diz. Don't worry, I've got it. That link that I've put in should work. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Go to site. Yes. There you go. Now it works. Cool. I hope I didn't shut down my stream then. That would be a bit shit, wouldn't it? Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Yes, I do. YouTube shuts down. Anyway, yeah. Where were we? We were talking about this shit fucking 250. We're having a dig at Trump and then this couldn't organise a piss up in a brew because these people don't know how to create anything. They only know how to destroy. And that theme that we talked about for the whole of Trump's presidency, his first presidency and this second one, these people and everything that the Tories did, Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, they don't know how to create anything. All they can do is take what's been created by other people, created by better people, and destroy it. These are the people who burned down the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus because they want to be famous for doing that. The guy who shot John Lennon did it to be famous as the guy who shot John Lennon. Graham, where'd you get your clock? I think I just got it off Amazon, mate. Sorry. I know I shouldn't be buying stuff on Amazon, but it's a bit difficult. Like, Durham's so shit for shopping and nightlife and cafes and pubs and restaurants and yeah, cinemas. Yeah, it's just Durham, innit? I don't know why it's a city. It's only a city because it's got a cathedral. Otherwise, it would be I don't know if you'd even call it a town. Maybe a village. A series of villages, a collective of villages. I mean, the city centre is just one road. It is literally just one road up a hill. That's dead narrow because it's a medieval road. But for some reason, they let fucking cars trundle up and down it. And you've got to pay £5 to go up the hill in your car. So it's always like Audis that are always revving their engines to try and get the tourists out the way. So they're squeezing onto onto the pavements, which in some places are only at 1 metre wide pavements. So everyone's like crammed up against the windows of the shops to let the cars go past, which are constantly going up and down that fucking hill in Durham. It does my fucking head in. I'm sorry for dissing Durham, but when I'm in Liverpool, I'm just like, oh my God, I just love it here. It's so good. There's always live music. There's always something happening. There's always something going on. We had the Tour de France finishing yesterday. Sorry, a stage of the Tour de France. Obviously, it finishes in Paris, but yeah, we had the Tour de France here. It's just a lot of fun. There's always stuff going on. Cults are sociopathic. Gradient levels from 1 to 10 comprise them. 1 being the popcorn eaters, adding to the doom. 10 being the billionaire mania type, says True Tech. 6 feet isn't deep enough. Make it 24 feet deep with at least 20 feet of the backfill concrete. What are we talking about? Is this for the big beautiful day? It wouldn't be the July the 4th celebrations without the obligatory shooting. 2 people have died and a third is in critical condition following a shooting in the shopping centre, says Chris C. Well, there you go, mate. I mean, there's nothing more American than a good old massacre, is there? Anyway, so yeah, meanwhile, there's a dangerous heat wave has hit large parts of central and eastern US. More than half the US population have been under heat alerts. Washington, D.C. reached about 38 degrees C, which is above the temperature of blood, which always gets a bit dicey when you're around that temperature. The Great American State Fair on the National Mall had to close temporarily because of the heat, as it keeps happening. The National Park Service cancelled Washington's Independence Day parade over safety concerns. The heat indexes values in Washington were forecast to reach up to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And the heat has also strained power grids, with PJM asking customers in emergency conservation programs to reduce usage. I don't know what PJM is, but I'll find out for you. The fireworks problem. So the fireworks display tonight, it's expected to be the largest official fireworks show in history. It's going to last 40 minutes, much longer than usual Washington displays. But this scale creates air quality concerns as well as crowd safety concerns, and it might fuck up. Like, people might get seriously injured in some way. I don't know, for breathing in this toxic, air from the fireworks. And I just want to compare it like to the 200th birthday in 1976. And this was before I was born, but Gerald Ford was the president at the time. He had taken over from Richard Nixon. But it came after Vietnam, after Watergate, and a period of national instability, and the oil crisis, etc. And President Gerald Ford used the anniversary to frame recovery and the national pride and democratic renewal. Major events were spread across the country rather than built around one place and one president, which is what's happened with Trump. The bicentennial wagon train pilgrimage brought volunteers from every state eastwards over historic trails. They had this thing called the Operation Sail, which brought an international fleet to New York Harbor. Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip toured several US cities, and the Queen presented the bicentennial bell, a replica of the Liberty Bell, as a gift from Britain. Ford signed the Bicentennial Day Declaration at the Independence Hall in Philadelphia. And the 1976 event did have some commercialism, it did have some nostalgia, but its official centre of gravity was civic, international, and institutional. Whereas now, the simple contrasts of having the wagon trains, the tall ships, the state visits, the civic ceremonies, national healing. We've got a Trump speech, heat closures, giant fucking firework display, the allegations of donor access, partisan history, military flyovers, a UFC fight that's ruined the lawn, a reflecting pond that's been absolutely well and truly fucked up with algae and hydrogen peroxide and peeling paint. You've got this national, what's it called, the state fair, the Great State Fair, or whatever that happened, where in just near the in Washington DC, the Great State Fair that no one's gone to, and it's got this pathetic little what's it called, a wheel, the Ferris wheel, say Ferris. It honestly just shite, just so absolutely shite. And 1976, they tried to make a wounded country feel like they had something in common, something together. Whereas in 2026, clearly from Trump's talk yesterday, it was just simply, wasn't it, like bringing furthering the divisions, cutting the knife in deeper. Anyway, the US UK special relationship is looked into on a BBC article this morning, and the anniversary has reopened questions about whether Britain still matters to Washington, and Trump has praised the special relationship while also ridiculing Keir Starmer. He's described the UK as dying. The UK influence in Washington is just it's weaker than it has been in my lifetime. Although, when it comes to cultural influence, soft power, I mean, think about all the, television, media, music, comedy, that Britain, remains significant, let's say, in American culture. It still punches above its weight in that respect, but when it comes to diplomacy and getting Americans to do what is in the interests of all of us, it just doesn't happen. So I've got some other stories to be talking about this morning. I've got Farage and the future of the UK. We've got Brexit, student hits British teenagers. Brexit student fees hit British teenagers in Europe. There was an Iranian journalist who was stabbed in London. There is a CBS abuse case, legal challenge. We've also got Ukraine in mourning after the Russian attack this week. We've also got Sudan. We mentioned that there's a place called Al Obeid, which is that there is a human rights catastrophe unfolding as we speak right there. There's the funeral of Ayatollah Khamenei, which was yesterday. The Iran oil, Iran is exploring renewed oil sales to Japanese buyers there. We've got Peru, the election there with the right winger has been elected, and we've got the Great Barrier Reef is not on the danger list for some reason. There's a draft UNESCO decision not to list the Great Barrier Reef as endangered. Even though it faces serious pressure from coral bleaching. It's had 5 mass bleaching events since 2016. But because it's economically important for Australian tourism, they don't want to stop tourists from taking boats out there, taking seaplanes out there and stuff. It's hang on. I'm just going to send a message. Sorry about that. Feel like they're stirring contests better than debates that are extra stupid and require corrections. Please sign it, spread the word. Loads want a way to help our trans brothers and sisters. Yeah, the Good Law Project trans petition there, if you can get onto that. I was diagnosed with complex PTSD, fucking night terrors and flashback. Okay. Vance says we're an Islamic state. I know, it's mad, that, isn't it? Like, you've got these Americans who don't know anything about us, waxing lyrical about how, just, yeah. The legal system isn't legit. It shows predators that have culty fans going back 2,000 years of a schizo-affective level delusion posture. Yeah. It was a con. They've made millions out of it. Which con, Frank? There's so many cons. It's hard to get around all the cons of the neocons. Well, the clue's in the name there, isn't it? So let's get back to, I was going to mention about Farage and the future of the UK. So political figures in Ireland, Northern Ireland, Farage-led government in the UK. And the concern is that reform-style English nationalism could destabilise the union, and obviously cause problems with our friends and family in the Republic of Ireland, because we share a common border, a common travel area. If we pull out of the European Convention of Human Rights and they don't, they're going to have a big problem, because one of the things that allows us to do is to get hold of criminal records for people all over Europe to decide whether we should be letting people in or not. So it's going to be like getting rid of the Dublin Agreement all over again, where we won't know who's coming into the country. And if they come into our country and we let them in, but Ireland is like, excuse me, that person's on the blacklist, they can't come into our country. How are you going to stop them without having a, say it with me, border on the island of Ireland, which is what Farage wants, because he wants to start the troubles again. He wants people being blown up in pubs. He wants kids being killed in Warrington because someone's put a bomb in a trash can, in a litter bin. He wants the Arndale Centre to be blown up again. He wants carnage on the streets, because these motherfuckers know that they make more money out of war than they do out of peace. People are fighting each other. They make loads of money. If you want engagement on your social media platform, rile people up. It's the way to do it. I'm saying it myself. I mean, I've done it last week just to make some money on the the Facebook platform, you know. But yeah, it is a major concern. And if they go ahead with withdrawing from the European Convention on Human Rights, it will be fucked. Because that is going to change. That's going to be a constitutional shock, not just to the UK but also to Ireland. And the just like our membership of the EU underpinned the Good Friday Agreement when it came to trade and things like that, and not having a border on the island of Ireland. The European Human Rights Convention also underpins it, absolutely, and it means that the legality that holds up not just the Good Friday Agreement, but a lot of international agreements that we have, and a lot of acts of parliament that we have, which are underwritten effectively by the laws that we abide by as a member of the European Convention on Human Rights. So yeah, it is just really grim, that idea that if Farage wants to, what his vision is for the future of not this country but all the countries around us as well. He wants to turn us into Airstrip 1 for the Americans, for his American friends, and he'll get paid very handsomely to do that. He will be in charge of making sure that everyone in this country pays their pays their money, their duty to the Americans through the services that only they provide, and we can't have our own alternatives. He doesn't want anything made in Europe. He hates Europe. He's funded by a guy who hates Europe so much he moved to Thailand. And yeah, I mean, these people do not have our best interests at heart, and we really need to be talking to people, especially members of family and friends, who still think Nigel Farage is a good guy and he's got the right idea. No, he fucking hasn't. Has anyone heard the the excuse that the noncy little twat who was putting up flags, that guy who was found with a load of child porn on his hard drive, he said he bought a hard drive second hand and he didn't format it. Okay. When you sell a hard drive, you format the bastard. You absolutely 100% format the bastard in case there's anything on there that the person who's buying the hard drive off will get access to. Now, I'm just going to put this out there. I mean, even if you are an absolute fucking scumbag, a paedophile, someone who downloads child pornography, I mean, you can't be that stupid that you would then sell the hard disk that has the child pornography on it to somebody else. Like, no, I'm sorry, that just doesn't happen. And it beggars belief that anyone would be so stupid as to do that. But, you know, there must be a paper trail. There must be some way of connecting this guy who was up a flag, or putting up a fucking flag on a lamppost, connecting him to this guy that he bought the hard drive off, apparently, if you believe that. Yeah, he's claiming that it was like that when I bought it. It was like that when I bought it. When it comes to Farage, I want to know why the Standards Committee is taking so long to investigate his $5 million bribe. He clearly breached the standards, so just get on with it. Yeah. It's because it takes its time. It's best they check again. We don't want Farage getting out of it. Cavan Lad says a hard border isn't feasible. It crosses farm streams, lanes, etc. Yeah, there's a guy who has a house on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and his house crosses the border. Like, his kitchen is in one country, it's in the UK, and then his living room is in another country, it's in the Republic of Ireland. Yeah, like one of the Raise the Colours lads. Maybe he bought it off another one of the Raise the Colours lads. He bought it for the content on the drive, maybe. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? If you were to get a hard drive, right, and it hadn't been formatted, and of course you'd probably have a look. Right, wouldn't you, on what was in there? If there was anything like that on there, wouldn't you report it to the police? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't that be your moral duty? Because the guy you bought it off has downloaded this illegal content onto this disc. You have the evidence, right? And obviously in the disc there's metadata. It shows when the stuff was downloaded. You know, even it might contain the IP address where it was downloaded, you know, whatever. Take it to the fucking police. Take it to the police straight away. You know, and say, listen, I bought this hard drive and I bought it off this guy and look what's on it. It's horrible. That's what a good, moral, upright citizen would do. But not to raise the fuckers, the lower the standards. They call themselves Raise the Colours. I call them lower the standards. See, it's a little play on terms because a standard is also a flag. A flag is a standard. Well, it's not quite a flag. It's a little bit different from the flag. A standard is a different definition to a flag. It's why you don't put the standard at half mast because it's not a flag. And you don't do that with a standard. But whatever. But yes, lower the standards. Unfortunately, I know too well how pawn shops work. You can't sell something to them without giving your address and details. Usually they want to see a passport. Yeah. Schools teach them to turn a blind eye and foster narcissistic trait. That needs to change right away. Yeah. He thinks the police haven't heard it all before. Not my data, governor. Yeah. Formatting a drive doesn't wipe a disk. It just removes the file system and blocks you. You can still read data off the disk. It's just reassembly is required. Well, Stu the Beard, it depends how you format it. You can do a full wipe where you do. You're right. It just knocks the index out, but the data is still there and recoverable. But yeah, it says this data is now available to be written over. So if you wanted to do a full detox of a disk, you would, well, format it, do a deep format, do a full format, which takes a while, and then if it's a 500 gig hard drive, just get some videos and copy them over onto it, so you fill up the whole 500 gig and there's no room left for the old data that used to be there. If you bought it from a second-hand shop like CX or Cash Converters, then there is a paper trail. Yeah, exactly. It's why his excuse is just bullshit. It's just obviously bullshit. Yeah. Puckoon by Spike Milligan has a pub with one corner in Northern Ireland where the beer is cheaper. Everyone crowds into that square meter in an evening. Very good. From Gwyneth there. Hey, listen. So yeah, we do need to be looking into this. Putting preparations in place in case this knobhead does win the next election. I don't think he will. Honestly, hand on heart, I'm looking at his figures, and although he has got 25% of the votes, he seems to have hit the ceiling at that point. And don't forget that a percentage of the vote does not translate into seats in Parliament because we don't have a proportional representational system. You need to have the most votes in each constituency, which they will not get because there are constituencies where Labour won't fight too hard to let the Tories win, or to let the Lib Dems win, or to let the Greens win, and vice versa, because everyone hates refuck. They don't work with other parties. How can a flag shagger not know how to restore factory settings? But here's the thing, El. It's really simple to format a disc. You just sort of right click on it and go to format. But the fact that he didn't look at the disc, or did he? Do you know what I mean? Like, how did anyone find out about this if he didn't? If he hadn't checked, I don't know. I don't get it. But the police, if they have his hard disk, they'll be able to prove that it was him downloading it at the dates when he owned the disc, and if not, find the person who sold the fucking disc. Anyway, so yeah, we've also seen something I mentioned. British teenagers living in the EU are set to lose home fee status and UK student loans from 2028. This change follows the end of a post-Brexit grace period. Families may have to move back to the UK for 3 years before university to regain home fee eligibility. International fees can be several times higher than home fees. We're talking like £100,000 a year rather than 10,000. The rule could price some British citizens, British children abroad out of UK universities. And this is another concrete example of Brexit destroying the lives of people. Absolutely fucking them beyond recognition. And it's okay for the people who are old and retired and never going to leave their home or leave their village. They don't care. They don't care about stuff like this. But I'm talking about a whole generation of people who have had their horizons curtailed by Farage, by these money men who have not curtailed their horizons for their own children. Restore, it was a joke. Oh, very good, Al. Thank you. I didn't get that. Thank you for your LGBTQ support. It means a lot. Oh, thanks, Sean. Thanks for the £2 super chat. That is very kind of you. We need one more, and we can have the confetti. We can let the confetti explode all over everyone's faces. So yes. Next story is a bit fucked up. We had two Romanian men who have been jailed over the stabbing of an Iranian journalist called Puria Zavatri. Zavatri was attacked outside his London home in March 2024. He worked for Iran International, a Persian language broadcaster that was critical of Tehran. And this has raised concerns about hostile state activity and intimidation of dissidents in Britain. The attack shows that the UK is not insulated from foreign regimes targeting their critics on British soil, which has happened a few times now with Russia targeting its critics on British soil, and fuck all being done about it. Got the CPS story here. There's a woman who is suing the Crown Prosecution Service over its handling of a childhood abuse case involving her stepfather. She says the prosecution process failed her after she helped bring the case to trial. The case concerns how the justice system treats survivors during long and difficult prosecutions. The wider issue is whether complainants are properly protected, informed and supported. And I'm going to go out on a limb here to say I don't think that they are. I really don't think they are. And this is a justice system accountability story, not just an individual legal dispute. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, there was a huge attack this week that led to 30 people being killed and 92 injured, attacked by the Russians. A separate Russian strike in Sumy killed civilians, including a mother and a child. More than 100 residential buildings were damaged, and Ukraine is targeting, civilians. Russia is saying that. Ukraine is saying that Russia is targeting civilians, which Russia is denying, but it clearly is targeting civilians. There's no two ways about it. If he's sent to prison, the flag shagger will become the flag. Contrary to what the media spouts, accessing that sort of material is not that easy. You need to know where to look, and the majority of the material is on the dark web. Yeah. So the idea that someone will get that onto a hard drive and then take it to Kex and not fucking, not format the hard drive. Oh, come on. Completely cover it over with white video or something. So yes, the funeral for Khamenei has taken place as well. The Greater Manchester mayoral by-election, we've got a date. It's going to be on the 30th of July. So more than 2 million people are eligible to vote, making this is the Britain's biggest ever by-election. And Bev Craig is the leader of the Manchester City Council. She's going to be running, and Reform and the Greens are both trying to turn local recent gains into a bigger breakthrough. Burnham is not on the ballot, but the result will be read as an early test of whether his leadership can rebuild Labour support. And the mayor controls major powers over housing, health, police and transport with a budget of around £3 billion. So we really don't want Farage and its creeps getting anywhere near that money. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, people living in caravans and horse boxes on Cornwall farms face eviction because of planning enforcement. Many are living that way because they can't afford to find. They can't afford. They can't find rented accommodation. Cornwall Council says it's among the top 5 authorities in England for enforcing planning breaches. Cornwall has 24,000 Airbnb and holiday lets. Meanwhile, there's 23,000 people on the council's social housing register. Make it make sense. Russian forces are claiming to have captured Kostiantynivka. Wow. Kostiantynivka in eastern Ukraine. The city is a key transport and industrial hub in Donetsk. And Putin saying that it is strategically important. Ukraine have not commented on it, but Putin has linked Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil infrastructure to Russia's push for an expanded security zones, as he's calling them. Meanwhile, Ukraine has just been striking the shit out of Russian port and oil infrastructure. Drones hit a place called the port of Vostok, Vistokt, which is northwest of St. Petersburg. The port handles oil and grain and coal, liquefied natural gas, and Russian officials said 72 drones were shot down over the Leningrad region. And Ukraine has intensified strikes on Russian energy infrastructure this year, contributing to fuel shortages in parts of Russia. Talking of international news, Iran has begun talks with Japanese companies about renewed oil sales. Japan stopped buying Iranian oil in 2019. The talks depend on a temporary US sanctions waiver. The waiver expires on the 21st of August. I mean, this is like, Iran getting punished by the Americans. We're gonna make your oil really expensive and then let you sell it again. America's not very good at this war thing. It's not very good at anything at the moment. It can't fucking piss up in a brewery comes to mind. There is the Strait of Hormuz traffic still hasn't returned fully to normal. It might not return fully to normal for many, many months to come because it just takes so long to get things back online. Turning off the pumps does damage to the oil and under the ground. The turning off the freezing, what do you call it, like the refrigeration for LPG, liquid petroleum gas, and in Qatar they have a big plant there that freezes it down to like minus 230 degrees C or whatever the fuck it is, and for transportation, and that's been shut down, and it's going to take them months to get it back up and running again. It's not as easy as flicking a switch on and off, but what is as easy as flicking a switch on and off is for me to say thank you to Martin Harrow and release the confetti. Woo! Yay, we did it! Yay, Martin Harrow, thank you so much. Anyway, so I've left the best till last. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's very kind of you. If anyone wants to drop one more super chat in, we will get confetti straight away now. From now on, I'll do that as a goal. I would like to, congratulate, be the first, probably not the first. I'd like to be the 9,534,793rd person to congratulate Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce on getting married in Madison Square Garden. Now, I'm not married. I've never been married. I've been to a lot of weddings. I've been to a fuckload of weddings. I was a choir boy when I was a kid. Used to go to 4 or 5 weddings on a Saturday. Right, each wedding it was like, come in, come out, right, you're married, piss off. Next people in, right, come in, come out. And we'd have to sing You'd Never Walk Alone. Whatever the bride and groom wanted. The old joke, what you call a scouser in a white trackie? The bride. I think I told that joke the other day. Anyway, the couple, the happy couple, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, they decided to get married in Madison Square Garden, which is like a soulless arena, like a boxing venue. It's a box that replaced the old, was it the Penn Station that used to be there? Was it? Has anyone seen pictures of Penn Station, of what it used to look like? I'll look it up. Penn Station, Old New York. Yeah, it was demolished in 1963. And when I go off on one about modern architecture, it's because of shit like this, It was an absolutely insanely beautiful building, like proper mad, insanely gorgeous. Let me just get the papers up here. Papers. There we go. Give us, what's this? Give us Bobby's 1966 shirt back. What? I'll try and get that set up so it's nice. So this is Penn Station, right? Look it up on Google Images. I mean, look at this. Look at this building. Look at this. Look at it. They knocked this down in 1963. It wasn't bombed by the Nazis or anything like that. They just knocked it down in order to make a fucking box, a boxing ring box. Like, I mean, that would be a cool place to get married. That actually looks nice. Do you know what I mean? No jumbo screens required. And, Penn Station, a place that once made travellers feel important. Yeah. And they knocked it down. They knocked it down and replaced it with, ladies and gentlemen, would you believe this? A fucking box. Anyway, so Travis and Taylor got married in a box. In a box. Ooh, the goal's been achieved again. Hooray, let's do the confetti again. Woo! Saz, thank you. Oh no, not again. Cheers. Under 8-day heat wave from tomorrow. Temperatures set to hit 32 degrees. For fuck's sake. Let's start another goal. Let's keep going. Let's keep going with the girls. My goal is to have all the girls. Right, should we have a look at the papers? Now that we congratulated Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. He plays American football. She sings songs. 20 years she's been going now. 12 albums, 13 albums, stuff like that. And she's America's pop princess. And she's entitled to shut down America. It was kind of like a royal wedding. America's equivalent to a royal wedding. I love how they're celebrating the 250th anniversary by having a royal wedding and shutting down streets in New York in order for a famous couple to get married. They're having a royal wedding, and on top of that, they have a dictator in charge, a king with kingly powers. There was a great video by Robert Reich who did is it Robert Reich, something like that, he did a video where he was dressed up as George Washington, and he read all the complaints about the King of England, George III, and why they were complaining about him, and everything they were complaining about is something that you could just hang on Trump, like absolutely something you could hang on Trump. Looks a bit like Grand Central Station, yeah, which is still there, but the demolition of Penn Station was the reason why they started putting in preservation orders on old buildings. Unfortunately, in the UK, we decided to put preservation orders on disgusting, ugly concrete blocks that we put up in the 60s and 70s because some people, robots mostly, enjoy them. And you know what? Some people like that shit. Yeah, whatever. It's just, can you not make me look at it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like your kid isn't very good at art, but you put the kid's pictures up on the fridge. That's fine. It's your fridge. Do what you like. But don't put your kids' fucking daft little scrawls on my fridge. All right, don't fuck my fridge up. I don't want them on my fridge. But with brutalism, with disgusting architecture, we're forced to look at it every day. And if you hate it, it's horrible. If you love it, it's fine. I guess, it gives you a little bit of a little bit wet downstairs, and that's fine, whatever. But I mean, for the rest of us, it's just, oh, mate, really? Do we have to do this? Is this really necessary? Is this really necessary? Just checked, over 25 degrees here for at least a week from Tuesday. Jesus. Hey, listen, so I'm expecting the nurses to come and check on my dad, who's I'm at home in Liverpool at the moment. And if I hear the doorbell go, I might have to shut down the show. So just so you know, if I go, right, that's it, bye everyone, very quickly, that's why. Liverpool is a gem. Yes, it absolutely is. I was checking my area earlier on. I can't even say that. I was checking my area earlier on. Area. Oh God, why is that so difficult to say? I guess it's because it's AREAERE. It's just lots of A's and E's and R's. Wow. I was checking my area earlier on. It's going to steadily climb to about 28 degrees on Tuesday. Shouldn't be as bad as last week. Cool. Part of the reason I love Liverpool so much is because of the old buildings. It's a great place. Yeah, but I mean, they knocked down some beautiful shit. Like they knocked down the old Sailors' Home, which is where Lewis's is now. They knocked down the whole the parade of places where the Futurist cinema is on Lime Street. They knocked that down, and then they built a box with a supermarket on it, and the box has got images of the buildings that were there before, which I think is a bit like a serial killer wearing the skin of its latest victims. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, please don't. It's like taking the piss. It's going, here's what we used to have, these beautiful buildings, these beautiful terrace buildings, these old cinemas, the deluxe cinema and the Futurist cinema, and it's just fucking hell. You took that away and you just gave us a box with a painting on the front of it of what it used to look like. It's just fucking demented. It's cruel. We also demolished the old Odeon on London Road. We also demolished a lot of cinemas actually around Liverpool. A lot of pubs were lost. If you go down Princess Drive, going into town through Toxteth, there's an old church there on your left as you're going into town. That's just been left to rack and ruin. The ceiling's all fallen in, the roof's all fallen in. But then there's been some amazing restoration projects. The old Scottish church is it on Hope Street? I think it's on Hope Street. It's the one with the pyramid. And there's a story about inside the pyramid is the skeleton of the guy who's buried there, and he's holding his winning hand in cards. It's an old Liverpool myth in the pyramid. The old Scottish church that was fabulously restored to make student accommodation, but at least they kept the old facade, which is good. A lot of the old buildings that are getting restored, like the old tobacco building, the old tobacco warehouse on the old Dock Road. So you got the Titanic Hotel opposite, and then you've got the Stanley Tobacco Warehouse, the biggest brick building in the world, and it is absolutely fucking insane, that building. Although the reason why it took so long to get any restoration work done on it was because all the ceilings are 6 foot high, because it was designed for keeping tobacco, and they didn't want, if the tobacco caught fire, they wanted everything compartmentalized. So if one floor caught fire, the other floors wouldn't get uh, fire either, so there wasn't much headspace. So the people who were employed to work in the old tobacco warehouse had to be like below 5'5". They only allowed shorties in to work there. So what they've had to do is take out every other floor of this old warehouse to make these 12-foot ceilings basically, and to do that, because of the way it was constructed, it's not as easy as modern buildings where you create the central column of the lift shaft and then you have the floors, sort of floating floors outside the outside of that. So it's fairly easy to take floors out because the floors aren't structural. The floors in this case are structural. They're fucking stone, concrete. They're very, very difficult to get rid of. And you've got the columns, they call them pins, and basically to replace. So there's two. To imagine there's a pin, there's a column, and then there's a floor, and then there's another column. They've got to take out both of those columns, and then they've got to take out the floor, and then they've got to replace the column with one big long column, right? And that is an absolute freaking nightmare because each one costs like 50 grand to do that. And there's over 1,000 of them. So it is very, very difficult. But yeah, I went wandering. I found the statue of Queen Victoria a few weeks ago. It's still a great statue, but needs some work around it. Yeah. Tall people have rights. Well, you don't have a right. Well, I mean, it would do your neck in, mate. It'll do your neck in working in somewhere that only had 6-foot tall ceilings. I live near Manchester, Victoria, and go to Liverpool at least twice a week in 37 minutes, which is cool. It's proof that it would have been okay if it was there for 18 months and then replaced with something, but looks a bit tired and tacky now. Yeah, the Lime Street stretch with images is shit. Yeah, I know. It's just, it's just like what could have been. It's like a sad reminder of what could have been or what was. I mean, I'd love to reopen the futurist cinema. In fact, there is a futurist pub opposite McDonald's now on Lord Street. Not on Lord Street. Not on Lord Street. On Paradise Street, maybe. I don't know. It's as you're going into Liverpool 1. It's on the left, opposite McDonald's, and it's a pub, and it's a tribute to the futurist cinema, which closed down in the early 80s. But I would love to have taken that over and turned it into a cinema club where there's always movies showing all day, all night, movies, 24-hour picture house, and you can just come and turn up, and there's an auditorium downstairs where you can actually watch, and it's quiet, but upstairs there's a bar with a glass partition, which, is soundproof, and you can use your own headphones to listen to the film, so you can sit there watching the movie, having a pint with your mates from the balcony. I just had all these plans and diagrams and stuff of what I wanted to do with the place, but trying to get an investor to do anything that isn't just buy a house goes up in value, or buy some shares in Lockheed Martin shares go up in value, that it is nigh on impossible. It is very, very difficult. And there's the old cinema near Picton Clock in Wavertree, just down the road from Bluecoat, my old school, and that was, I don't know, it was a Mecca bingo hall when I was a kid, I think, and then it's turned into like a Summerfield. Do you remember Summerfield and Gateway supermarkets? They went the way of the dinosaurs, didn't they? Where did all the Summerfields go? Where did all the Nettos go? We used to have Nettos. No, there were no Nettos. It's more of a net no than it's more of a net zero netto that we've got. But yeah, and that could be a really cool cinema to put back together, a community centre, have a roll. I love the idea of having rolling film programs where you just come and go. Do you know what I mean? And just come and see a movie, and then in between maybe having a bit of a talk about the movie that's coming up and all that kind of stuff. Shout out to the Cape Verde football team. Won a match last night. If only I knew someone with a story about such a small country, says Wayne. I feel a bit torn about that because they did. I mean, and to lose on an own goal at the very end was just. It was a sad way to go out, but they really, really held Argentina's feet to the fire. If you don't know what we're talking about, it was the Earth Ball, the Earth Ball round trophy last night, continuing on. It will continue on for a few more weeks yet. And the little minnow, that is Cape Verde, which is an old Portuguese colony until it got independence in 1975. And it took on the might of Argentina, the current World Cup trophy holders, and ranked second in the world. They held their own. It was 1-1, went into extra time. Both teams scored another goal. It was 2-2, and then in the dying moments, one of the Cape Verdean players accidentally, knocked the ball into his own net, and that was it. Netto stores were taken over by Asda. Summerfield was bought by Coop, and Safeway was bought by Morrison's. Well, there you go. Yeah, and there's going to be no Halifax in a year's time. It's all going to be Lloyd's, which is a bit confusing because I've got a Lloyd's credit card and I've got a Halifax credit card, so I don't know what to do now. There's an old cinema at the end of Egbert Road, bottom of Park Road. Yeah. Didn't that get burnt out during the Toxteth riots in 1981? I think it did. But yeah, there was was that the Roxy? Was that the Roxy? I can't remember. The cinema on that was talking about the one near Picton Clark. In the original lyrics for In My Life, that was mentioned along with Penny Lane, Church Road, which is the road that connects Penny Lane to where the cinema is. And Church Road is also the road that my school's on. So my school would have got another shout out, as well as being in Peaky Blinders. Yeah, my school. Go. First loss in 4 games for Cape Verde. Yeah, they've done really, really well. They've done really, really well. And all Halifax customers will be transferred over to Lloyd's regardless. Yeah, but does that mean I have 2 Lloyd's cards? But yeah, I was a Sainsbury's Bank customer, and they got taken over by NatWest, and then the post office got taken over. Got taken over by Jar Jar Binks or something. I don't know. All these takeovers. It's just like, oh, for God's sake, it's just all becoming Omnicorp, wasn't it? Summerfield was bought out by the co-op. I was working for them at the time. Fucking hated that job. Who remembers Quicksave? I remember Quicksave. I used to have a Quicksave in Old Swan. That's the one that me and my mum used to go to. So I used to go to the kindergarten on East Prescott Road, and opposite opposite Springfield Park. And I used to, after kindergarten, my mum would pick me up. We'd go to the supermarket, go to the Quick Save, and then we'd get the 61 bus home with all of our shopping. I mean, bloody hell! Back in the day, and I think it was only like to get the bus was like, I don't know, 5p or something. It's great. Here's an old name from shopping past Normids. We had a Hilliard's became Tesco. Happy Shopper. There was Happy Eater as well, which had the logo, someone sticking their finger down their throat. Wasn't a great logo, have to say. The Happy Eater did not look too happy. Should we have a quick look at the papers, and then I'll wrap up. I'll wrap up for like 10:30. I've got some stuff to do today. I was planning to make a video for to celebrate July the 4th, and I blocked time off for doing it yesterday, but I don't know if you joined me yesterday, but I was absolutely fucking hanging. I had such a hangover. I texted me mate. I said, like, what's happening? And he's like, oh God, we drank too much. And I'm like, yeah, we fucking did. I said, I've got to stick to bottles. Don't drink the pints. Just don't buy me a pint. But by the time we got to the pub, our mate had already bought a pint for us each. And like, so we just started on pints and continued on. And it was like, if I drink bottles, I don't go to the bar as often. So I get less drunk. But he was like, yeah, I think it was the 8 pints that we drank. That was probably it. I was like, fucking hell. I don't remember anything. I've got to stop doing this. I'm too old. I'm too old for this. When I was young, I'm sure I used to wake up with a hangover and kind of shake it off and get on with my day. And now it's like, all day. So sorry about that. Sorry for the quality of yesterday. I don't know if you noticed, but when I was doing the show with Phil, I was just letting him talk. Normally I try and interrupt because Phil on his own will just talk and talk and talk and talk. And normally try and interrupt as much as possible. In this one, I was just going. Trying to hold it together. This show is very Scouse heavy. I'm going to redress the balance in favour of Basildon. Going to play some Depeche Mode and phone Scott from 5. Oh my God. Enjoy the silence. Anyway, when Lidl and Aldi first opened, I had to learn prices, I recall. Quicksave was bought up by Summerfield. I worked a guy who had worn Quicksave, Summerfield and Co-op uniforms in his time. Nice but simple bloke. Lol. I remember getting into trouble. Well, not getting into trouble. I was very upset when I was a kid. I was in infant school, and I wrote quick, as in the way that Quicksave spells it, and I was told that's not the way to spell it, and I got really upset. I was like, but that's the way to spell it, Quicksave. Like, yeah, but that's not how you spell it. My first wife had to work for QuickSave. Work for QuickSave had to memorize all the prices. Well, when I worked at the Manchester Academy, so there was different venues, right? There were 4 different venues that you could work in if you worked for the Manchester Student Union in the late 90s. There was the Academy where we had the biggish gigs on, the Foo Fighters and Eminem and all that kind of stuff, Motorhead. Then we had the Hop and Grape, which was up in the top of the Union building, and it had the bar. It was the best one to watch if there was a gig on. I remember seeing the Dandy Warhols there and the Audience with Sophie Alex Bextor and the Complete Stone Roses. Got to meet Manny, who's sadly not with us anymore. But the bar was right at the back, and the stage, and then we had the area for people, and then we had the stage at the front, and it was fantastic because you could, if you were working, everyone stopped buying drinks when the band came on, so you could just stand there and watch the band from the back, thumbs up. And then there was the Serpent Bar, which was the bar for the MDH, which is the main debating hall, which was where they sort of had the mid-sized gigs. So we had the small venue, the medium-sized venue, and then the bigger venue, the Academy. And those bars had tills on that had different buttons for different drinks. So you'd have, all your beers, and you press the cider, or a shot of whiskey or a shot of vodka, whatever it was, and you'd have a button, and you'd press the button, and you'd tot up all the drinks by pressing all the buttons. There was a 4th venue in the cellar called, imaginatively, the Cellar, and one of the reasons probably why I have such a fucking visceral dislike for posh braying rugger buggers is because every Wednesday they'd have the Athletic Union social, right? And it was just populated by a bunch of very, very rich hooray Henrys who all made this noise, right? And I would go to the Athletics Union thing, and I'd be working, and it was a pain in the arse because a lot of these rugger bugs, they all want to snake bite and black. None of them would just drink a pint of lager like a normal person. It all had to be Snaky B in a plastic cup, because they threw the cups everywhere, made a fucking mess in a plastic cup, and it was half lager, half cider, and then a bit of Ribena in the top, because that's what real men drink or something. The rugger buggers drinking this and pouring them over the head. But that wasn't the worst bit. The worst bit was the fact that the tills we had were just old-fashioned 1970s tills, I guess, that had the little keypad on it. And because the way the tills were set up, you couldn't use them to add things up. So not only did you have to know the price of everything at the bar, right? You also had to tot up at 2 o'clock in the morning, standing on your feet. You've been working for 5 hours, standing on, you had to tot up in your head what all the different drinks were. It was fairly easy if it was just one sensible thing, like someone got 5 lagers and the lagers were £1.10 each. Okay, it's £5.50, whatever. But if someone had ordered like 7 Snaky Bees and a Pernod and Black and a this and a that, and I was just like, yeah. So that was fun. I think they have modern tills there now. But yeah, trying to work out doing sums at 2 o'clock in the morning when you've got an assignment to be in at 9. And people used to smoke. Another reason why I've got like deep fucking, I don't want to call it PTSD, because I think that diminishes people with the experiences of people with actual PTSD, but I do find the smell of cigarettes triggering. Like it is not a nice smell for me. It is a smell that takes me back to some of the most unpleasant experiences of my life, which is not good. Not least my grandmother dying of lung cancer when I was a kid. So thanks for reminding me of that with your cigarettes. Woo! I love getting taken back in time. Supermassive Wayne, Poulton Road in Wallasey is my mum's community shop. Get down there, you Plazzy Scousers. She's doing her bit for the area. I thought that was the door. That was the doorbell going, but it's my mum coming in, so that's good. I don't have to stop. Yay! I reset the chat as well. It's all good. I worked in a bar like that, says Diz. Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare, isn't it? You gotta keep on your toes. Snake bite the gateway into alcohol. It was just horrible. It was just horrible. It was just like, what even is this? It tastes like either off beer or off cider with some Ribena in it. Like, why? Why? Who even invented that? Also, big thing at the time was aftershock, which is like medicine. It's like it tasted like cough medicine, and it was dead sticky. And we used to have like a special measuring thing, to measure out into the glass. Or I think we served it, didn't we? In these little, and they get really sticky. And if you ever, and then the bottle would get sticky. And if you ever touch the bottle, you have to go and wash your freaking hands. And then obviously you couldn't take the money off people because this is before cards. So, you had to take the money off people, so you had to go and wash your fucking hands before you could get the money off them for that. Or operate the till because your fingers were just covered in this horrible aftershock stuff. When I used to work for Gala Bingo on the bar, the tills used to go down every night at 7:30 for updates. Thank God for mobile phone, pen and paper. Hey, this was before mobile phones. White Lightning was the Essex Gateway booze. It was indeed. Okay, so let's head over to the papers. Why not? Why not? Super Chat's still open, by the way, if anyone wants to drop in. We've got here the Independent. Taylor Swift's wedding shows New York is now a rich person's playground. Now a rich person's playground. Now you complaining about it. I'm sorry, but it's always been a rich person's playground. There was no time in the past when it wasn't a rich person's playground. What the hell? What the absolute F are you talking about? It's now a rich person's playground. What? Okay, if you say so. A bit weird, but there you go. Burnham to target Gen X voters with early tax breaks. Great news. Yay, give them tax breaks. I think that Gen Z deserve a break considering they're going to have to clean up all the mess that the rest of us are leaving behind. So, or choose not to and die. There's the options. You can clean up all our mess. Oh, we don't want to. We want to get on with our lives. No. You're going to spend all your life cleaning the mess up that we made. So yeah, we've also got, it says PM in waiting weighs tax package with up to £3.5 billion to help young people build savings for a home deposit as well as rent to buy assistance or free reduced travel across England. That sounds great. Right to buy assistance, free travel or reduced. Way! What happened there? Oh, the coffee went off. Sorry about that. Sorry. So where are we? Oh yeah, and then also here we've got millions of mourners gather in Tehran for the Ayatollah's funeral. He's gone. He has gone. Killed by the Americans. Next up, we've got the royal exclusive. My passionate 5-year love affair with Prince Edward, which is some woman there. Okay. A no holds barred book. Ruthie Hensel tells you the story you never thought you'd read. ... Give us Bobby's 1966 shirt back. Yeah. Taylor Swift's showbiz wedding of the century is on there as well. Sorry about that. Taylor Swift's showbiz wedding of the century, yeah. Which no one's got any pictures of, so we don't even know what it's like. We just have people outside looking, whatever. There's a High Court bid to recover iconic red jersey. That's nice, isn't it? And someone had an affair with the royal. Well, there you go. That doesn't normally happen. What else have we got here? Mexico versus England. Oh my God. I'm so... Can I just do... I need to buy a bit of overlay software so I can draw cocks on things because that mouth is just begging for it, isn't it? Labour MPs urge Andy Burnham to introduce wealth tax on homeowners in the South. Influential group likely next MP is backing to scrap council tax. Influential group offers likely next PM its backing to scrap council tax and stamp duty and replace it with a proportional tax based on land property values, which I absolutely agree with 100%. This means that no longer are developers going to sit on just land and wait for the land to get more expensive, because they're going to be paying money on it, whether there is a house on it or not. It doesn't matter. If you put an extension on your house, you're going to be put up to another band of your council tax. At the moment, you build an extension on your house, you go from a band D or a band D, you go up, and then you're paying more, right? Because you've improved your house. So where's the incentive to improve your house? There isn't one. Also, when you've got older people who are occupying a massive fucking mansion because it's their home and they've lived there forever, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's very cool. But at the same time, there are families, young families that don't have anywhere to live at the moment, and they're having to be housed in hotels and hostels, which is dead expensive and dangerous for the family. Can we start thinking about making people, encouraging people to downsize? At the moment, there is a huge disincentive to downsize, especially if you're cash poor and property rich, or however you want to put it, because if you do downsize to a smaller property, you end up paying £10,000-20,000 of stamp duty. Get rid of it. Making it an incentive to sell your place if you've got a big place, making an incentive to if you've got a property, if you've got land, build on it, or you're paying tax for no reason. It's going to be a proportion of the value of the land, and obviously that's going to be a difficult thing to work out. It's going to take a lot of civil servants and a lot of spreadsheets, but it is possible. Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's going to be 0.2% of the value of the house, or whatever it is. So somewhere around here, we'll be paying £1,000 a year. Someone down in London will be paying £5,000 a year. The old rateable value is a better system than council tax, says person impersonator. Well, yeah, they got rid of the rateable system because they brought in the poll tax, Thatcher's poll tax, which was so unpopular. There were riots in Kent. Oh my God. Can you believe that? However, there is a possibility of the match being called off as there's a massive storm predicted to hit the area. We were talking about the timing of the World Cup. So it's at 1 o'clock in the morning for us, which is crazy. But they were going to move it till 12 o'clock their time, so it would have been like 7 o'clock our time. So that would be great, 7 p.m. kickoff. That works for us. But however, that would be in the heat of the day, the hottest part of the day. The stadium doesn't have a roof. The players can't wear hats. It's gonna, the players only get there today. They only get there today, and then they're playing the match tomorrow, and they've got to acclimatise in that time. It's just fucking crazy. Apparently they've scrapped the idea of moving it now, but they might have to anyway, just because of this massive thunderstorm. There you go. Stamp duty removal costs and solicitors, says Mr. Tisk. Yeah. Graham, just use this aubergine and pop it in the mouth of Imagines. That's what I do. My main target is Farage. I don't want to see him do that. All things being equal. Council tax 100% needs reforming, says Michael. Still, I have the right to buy, but if you sell your home within a certain time frame after buying it, all profit has to be paid back to local authority. Yeah, actually, what I won't do, I won't use an aubergine. I'll draw like a cock, right, on as a PNG file, and I'll just overlay it. Like I do with the frog face and the clown face and the butter face for Trump. I could just make it so when there is someone with their mouth wide open on the front cover of the newspaper, I can just paste it in there. Wait, you're telling me footballers are a bunch of snowflakes and can't cope with a little heat? Yeah, not the way I will put it. Anyway, so yeah, households in the north of England and Midlands will pay less, while owners in higher value properties and concentrated in London and South East will generally pay more. Labour MPs in the key red wall battlegrounds will give Burnham support to launch a radical overhaul of Britain's tax system. They say working class families often pay more than the well off. This is true. The houses around here, or the houses in Durham, we pay more in council tax than they do for Buckingham Palace. Because of the way that council tax is worked out, it's just fucking crazy. It's by councils, so you have £20 million mansions in Victoria opposite Buckingham Palace, and they only pay £1,000 a year in council tax because the council makes all its money from business rates. It doesn't need the money from residences. Which is crazy. When do buy underwrite to buy our rules? Reselling in a certain time period. Give first refusal. Housing associations, I think that is. Yeah. And Andy Burnham's also talking. We're talking about pubs and stuff. He's also talking about taking out a lot of the tax that properties in commercial properties in the city centres, the rates that they've got to pay, bringing them right down for places that are communal hubs for the community, and whacking up those same taxes for big boxes on the outskirts of towns, big warehouses for Amazon, etc. Yeah, absolutely whack up the tax on that. 100%. Couldn't agree. So there you go. Next up, we're going to go over to, which paper should we go to next? Let's go to the weekend. The weekend. Here we've got America 250. Here, Simon Sharma, Francis Fukuyama, blah blah blah. Margaret Atwood talking about America being 250 years old and not doing so well. Really not doing so well. Do you know what else isn't doing too well? The clipping on that. I've just got to change the clipping on that because it's not great. I'm just gonna because it's taken too much off the top, isn't it? So let's get that looking nice. There you go. That looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? That look nicer to you? Yeah, there you go. There we go. Lovely. And then what I can do, I'm going to be very clever, is get the white frame background and then just stretch that at the bottom there. So it pokes out the bottom, pokes out the top. So it looks like a Polaroid picture, almost. Yeah, the FT weekend here. We've got World War II foes unite as German stalwart buys British Spitfire supplier. My God. And we've got the story about Andy Burnham here. I didn't burn him. Devolution fever grows as ministers court Burnham. So there you go. And then we've got lunch with the FT Morgan McSweeney, who appears to be a bit of a dickhead. A bit of a dickhead in his interviews that he's given, I've got to say. Next up, we've got The Guardian, the history of the US in pictures. Parents warned, don't put images of children online. Parents should not put photographs of their children on public display online, according to landmark guidance issued to tackle the rise of AI-generated sexual abuse material. Now, I hate this, right? We don't. So there's no pictures of our, me and Kat's kids. We don't put them for public we don't put them on any social media links or anything unless it's set on to friends only. And we didn't allow either of the girls to be in any school events, photos, and be put online. And I'm very glad that we made that decision, but we shouldn't have to. How about we have a system where the richest man in the world can't own a platform that allows you to undress children using AI? How about if someone does that, we put them in fucking jail and throw away the key? How about we do that? How about we don't allow these tools to be available in the first place to people? How about that? It's bad on the high street when charity shops and pawn shops are closing. Yeah. Chris says that is exactly how I would put it. After all the gammons complain about the school kids being sent home early during heat waves. So if kids are expected to cope, so can footballers. Yeah. It's so expensive to run small shops in town centres. Yeah, it is at the moment, but it shouldn't be. They should be given massive tax breaks to bring back our town centres with places that that. Why do you need to? This is one of the big problems with capitalism. It's like it's profit at all costs, and they've got to maximise the profit. So what's the way to maximise the profits? Well, you have franchise operations that are owned by some American company that doesn't pay any tax, and you get people in, you get people out. You don't create third spaces for people. That's not home. That's not work. It's a third place where they can sit around all day working on the laptop or chatting with their friends. Slowly having a coffee or nursing a pint or whatever. These third places are being taken away from us and being used as places for these big companies to make as much money as possible. Whereas it was more community-led stuff, it wouldn't matter that you're not making that much of a profit as long as you're making enough to pay your staff. You're not paying too much in rent, you're not paying too much in tax, and you're you're making a bit of money. You're not making Brewsters, okay, but you're making a bit of money. You should be able to survive in the high street. You used to be able to, but you can't anymore. And this is very telling of what the country looks like after 14 years of Tory austerity and cuts and the vandalisation of society and communities. The Odyssey, Hollywood's all-star epic, hormone myths busted. It's a love story, baby. Taylor Swift wedding bash underway. We've got World Cup police critical of PM's late move to let pubs open until 5 a.m. How to survive a 1 a.m. match. England's epic Mexico test. Now, I should explain that the police are pissed off about the fact that it's got to, the bars are going to have to be open until 5 a.m. basically to watch this match on Sunday night. Well, Monday morning technically. The big issue here is that they just weren't given enough. The police weren't given enough notice, even though we'd known about the possibility of this being the outcome if we won our group and we won against whoever we ended up playing against, which was DR Congo. I can see why the police are a bit pissed off about this, but it's the World Cup. What are you going to do? Organisation, baby, organisation. And Taylor Swift getting married again. I can't wait for the breakup album. Is that really cynical of me? I know it is. Hughes, Drunks and Burnham by Michael O'Leary. Okay, that's the guy who owns Ryanair. We've got England to kick off early to beat Storms. Well, actually, that's wrong because they're not going to, but whatever. Djokovic's daughter cheers on daddy. Oh, fuck off, Djokovic. I hate you. Rochdale's rapists freed despite warning. I love the fact that on one newspaper it says, don't put pictures of your kids online, and then the front cover of these, the Telegraph has got a kid on the front. Look at this kid. Look at this child, everyone. Look at this child. Let's basically create 500,000 copies. Let's print them on pamphlets and distribute them to every railway station in the land. Prostate cancer victims betrayed by screening chiefs. There, Kate and William's secret Swift meeting. The Prince and Princess of Wales enjoyed a secret rendezvous with Taylor Swift and her fiance Travis Kelce to plan a football-themed podcast episode. Well, there you go. Osborne, stalker ruined my wedding. George Osborne's stalker ruined his wedding. Was this the one where he got glitter thrown over him or something? I don't know. Someone made malicious complaints about him, which resulted in the couple being investigated for drug abuse and neglect of their children. Oh, I'm no fan of Gideon Osborne, but that's a bit mean. Battle over the back garden. Battle over the back garden Berlin Wall. A homeowner in a planning row after erecting a 3.6 metre section of the Berlin Wall in his back garden. Miliband made net zero toxic, says Dale Vince. The green energy tycoon has blamed Ed Miliband for the toxification of net zero, branding him unfit to become chancellor. Ooh, okay. I mean, I thought that he'd been quite successful at getting stuff, the green revolution off the ground. Obviously not. It's hard to keep people happy in it. We've got Caitlin Moran and her friend Bob Mortimer gardening. Yay! I'm much fitter in my 60s than I was in my 20s, says some bloke. And then we've got US bid to block Miliband. We've got England set to kick off 6 hours early to avoid storms. Well, they're not going to do that. And then Iran beginning 6 days of mourning for the Ayatollah Khamenei, who has died, who was killed by the Americans. Yay! Daily Express, give 999 heroes medals in our girls' memory. Fathers of murdered PCs. Fiona Bone and Nicola Hughes back at Express's campaign. The fathers of two police officers murdered on duty are backing a Daily Express crusade for injured 999 staff to be awarded medals. Cool. Okay, yeah, I'm up for that. And then we've got National Trust, these people running away from the house there because the house is haunted and they're going to die. And then, oh God, more cocks. World Cup bombshell, late winner. England's kickoff is set to move to 7 p.m. on Sunday. Fans fixture to boost after storm warnings in Mexico. Well, apparently it's not. Apparently the latest news this morning is it's absolutely, that thing that they say is happening isn't happening. And then results, hurricane may sweep England kickoff time forward. England's World Cup round 16 tie with Mexico could be moved from 1 a.m. on Monday to earlier on Sunday because of the threat of storms. And we know, oh God, I've really got to draw a magenta cartoon cock, haven't I? So I can just put it onto all these newspapers covers. Why is it all the onus has been put on the public internet use and not force the platforms to conform to the law? I don't know. The timing isn't the problem. It was always going to be them. Problem is extending pub opening hours at the last minute. Yeah, well, I mean, that decision should have been taken. It should have been taken ages ago. They knew what time the match would be, and they should have said, if it is, we're going to extend the licensing hours till 5 a.m. And this isn't something new. We did this back in the, in Euro 1996, where we were holding the what was it called? The event, the tournament. We were holding the tournament, and I think that went down quite well, didn't it? The places were open till ridiculous o'clock in the morning, which I agreed with. I thought that was great. We had I remember clearly going to the Crazy House while it was still light at around 9:30, and then 10 o'clock in the middle of June, and then getting out at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was still light. Well, it wasn't still light. It got dark while I was in there, but there's no windows in the Crazy House, so it was kind of weird. Euro 96. Yes, I just said that. Did I say that wrong? Sorry, did I not say it right? Thank you for my AI picture. No, I don't want to use an AI picture. Thank you very much for making that for me, though. I'm actually trying to make a draw a picture here on I don't know what I want it to be magenta. Yeah, it's got to be magenta, hasn't it? So let's go 100% magenta, 0% yellow, 0% cyan. Okay, right, there you go. And then oh, that's terrible. Sorry, I'm just trying to draw a cock. A cartoon cock, because I'm a child. There we go. Sorry, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm using Photoshop for what Photoshop should be used. Oh, that pube's too big now. And then we'll have that, and then that. Okay. I think that works. This is so B3TA. This is so badly done. This is so badly put together. I love it. Let's save that. Okay, cock. There we go. Okay, right, my friends. I close Photoshop. There we go. And hello. What's happening? In the 90s, I used to go to a breakfast dance club, opened at 8:30 a.m. Oh my God. In the 2000s, they introduced 24-hour pubs. What happened to that? I mean, the law side of it. Well, you can apply. I mean, the Jacaranda in Liverpool, that's open till 5 in the morning, isn't it? Someone clip all of what Graham said in the last minute. All right. Anyway, so, what's happened? Why has that disappeared? There you go. Right. So now I've got that. Okay. And what I can do is bring over my little drawing that I've just done. So here we go. Oh my God, it's way too big. It's way too big. Jesus. Let's get that down to it. Yay. There you go. So then I can get this picture and then put it there. Oh, do you know what? You can't see it very well because of... yeah. Maybe I should have made it yellow. Maybe I should have overlaid it in yellow. That'll be a bit easier, wouldn't it? Yeah. Sorry about that. That didn't work out quite how I wanted it to. I thought magenta might be the colour to use, but I think so it doesn't get lost in the background, I will have to opt for yellow. It's going to have to be a big yellow cock, I think. So there you go. But you got a little preview there of what it could look like. The joys that we can have with this. I bet all the editors of the papers are kicking themselves now that the kickoff time hasn't been brought forward. I bet they're all kicking off. They're all kicking themselves and kicking off about the kickoff being moved to a different kicking off time. Uh, let's see. Let's go to blending options. Color overlay, and let's color it in yellow. Let's make it a nice little bit of yellow. There you go. And okay. Right, save that. Oh, a new version of Photoshop is available. Update the first look. Right, let's call this cockatoo. A cockatoo. Yeah, let's. I appear to already have had a thing called cock. Yeah, a file called cock. Right. It needs to be solid. No, I don't think it does. Let's see. So we'll get rid of this one. We'll get rid of that one, and then we'll update this and bring over cockatoo. There you go. That's better. And then we'll make that the page size. Yes, brilliant. Look at the artistry. And then all we need to do is move this over here. There you go. Lovely. Look at that. Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that great? I think that's fucking wonderful. Isn't that just wonderful? So what we'll do is we'll just get rid of it. We'll just get rid of it for a moment, and we will go back on the papers here. Go back. And then we can. Oh shit! What has happened? Oh no, I did want that one. Right, so we can go down here, and now look what we can do. This is so much fun. We can let's do copy, paste. Okay, brilliant. And then I'm just gonna just do a 1 second. Just gonna transform it. I'm just gonna flip it horizontally. Okay, brilliant. So now we've got this one here. All right, so that can go there. Oh, actually, no. See, that doesn't work either. So there you go. Look, that's boss. That is brilliant. Hang on, we've got one going that way and one going that way. So let's get this one over here. This is the hard-hitting journalism that we need. But there you go. Yes. I'm sorry if you're not amused by this and you're sitting there going, what the fuck is Graham? He's having a great time. They're all having a great time. Everyone's having a good time. Yes. So yeah, let's see if we can change this so we can, yeah, so just sorting a couple of things out. So we'll get rid of them, and then we'll have a look at another paper. See, the papers would be a lot more fun if we can just do this for everyone. Not doing it fair, that would be wrong. Oh, okay. Well, we don't really have another place that we can do it. Oh well, never mind. Well, we did it on the mirror and the star, and there's what mattered. Hey, but now we have the ability. If someone's on the front cover of a newspaper like this, you have the ability to add a big yellow cock. There you go. Why do teams often win when their country stages the World Cup, the climate? You just ask us a question and you answer the quick. Give us a moment to big up with our own answers. Pete paints a lot. I'll let you off. Mexico must be favourites to knock England out. If we beat Mexico to win the World Cup, we would have to beat Brazil. Yep. It's more bemused, to be fair, says Jimmy Anderson, bowling genius. Anyway, I hope I got some more chances to use me big yellow cocks on the front cover of newspapers from now on. So that's it, really. I think I've talked about everything I want to talk about this morning. We covered the big royal wedding. We covered also the Great Barrier Reef being not apparently. It's not going to be. It's not going to be regarded by the UN as critically endangered, which it absolutely is. The global average high temperature for 4th of July is forecast to be exactly 1 degree Celsius at the historic norm. Africa is furthest above the historic norm at 2.3 degrees higher. Extreme heat is threatening US holiday events, power grids. Australia has welcomed this UNESCO decision not to list the Great Barrier Reef as endangered, which I think is really shit. It's so they can still make money out of it, because if they put it down as endangered, they will stop having boat trips out there and seaplanes landing and things like that. And not being placed on the danger list doesn't mean it's safe, you know. But yes, France winning it, calling it now, says Jimmy Anson. They've been very good. They've been very good. They've been very good. Who do you think is going to win the Golden Boot? The Golden Boot, is it going to be Messi? Are we going to say it's Messi? I think it's probably going to be Messi. Mr. Messi, one of the Mr. Men. So I'm going to get off now. What time is it? It's coming up to 11 o'clock. So we've done a nice little, nearly 2-hour show. I was a bit late getting started. Timu Bob Ross, thank you. It's just a happy little cock. I'm just going to draw a little happy little cock on Kane's face. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. Be good to each other. The UN gives Israel and then takes away the Great Barrier Reef. Yeah. So yes, thanks for watching. I might do a show later. I'm not sure. I am home and doing stuff, home things. So I will see. But in the meantime, have a great July the 4th weekend. If you feel the urge to set off a few fireworks, don't make it so many that some people will literally die of respiratory illnesses. But yeah, if you are going to celebrate the treacherousness of the treacherous Yanks pulling away from the motherland in a way that was just a bit rude, really, and they threw all our tea into the Boston Harbor, which is why they can't make tea anymore. Like Americans can't make tea or chocolate or cheese, which is why I'll never move there, because they can't make tea or chocolate or cheese. They make tea by putting the cup in the microwave. They put the mug in the microwave to heat the water up, and then they put a tea bag in it. Absolutely disgusting. Gandhi was once asked what he thought of Western civilization, and he replied, "Yes, I think it would be a very good idea." So that's it. Until next time, I'll be back tomorrow morning with a 11 o'clock in the morning with the old Sunday sermon. We're going to be talking about stuff tomorrow. Might not be talking about politics. Might talk about other stuff. Might talk about, I don't know. I might talk about Taylor Swift. Join me for that. Yay! But yes, England women play Australia tomorrow at Lord's. Ooh, excellent. Hope we win, because it's us. I'm putting my red coat on, says Supermassive Way. Absolutely put your red coat on and give those Yankees what for. And remind them what happened in the War of 1812 when we burned down the White House. That's why it's white. They had to cover the scorch marks. Great days. Anyway, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.